Greetings from Kardec Radio, where we are bringing listeners another audiobook, this one entitled Who is Afraid of Death, written by Richard Simonetti. This third installment covers Chapter 4 entitled Disconnection and Chapter 5 entitled Balance. Enjoy. Chapter 4, Disconnection. Disincarnation, in other words, the process through which the spirit, enveloped by a paraspirit, leaves the body, is still inaccessible to the present earth science, since it happens in the spiritual dimension where no scientific device, no matter how sophisticated it may be, has been able to penetrate. Therefore, we remain limited to the information received from the spirits, who in turn are limited by the difficulties imposed by our human barriers, something like explaining the functioning of the endocrine system to a child, and also by the lack of similarity, elements for comparison between the biological and spiritual phenomena. Leaving the technical details aside, we can say that the disincarnating process starts in the extremities of the body and reaches completion as the fluid bonds that link the spirit to the body are undone. It is known that the dying person has cold hands and feet, a circulatory phenomenon explained by the weakening of the heart that can no longer pump the blood adequately, but that is also a disconnecting phenomenon. As it progresses, the corresponding areas no longer receive the vital fluid that emanates from the spirit and sustains the physical organization. During this process, the disconnection of the fluid bond that ties the spirit to the body at heart level causes the latter to lose the spiritual support and to stop beating. The blood circulation ceases and death occurs in no time. Today, medical science has got a large number of devices to reanimate a patient when his heart collapses. Cardiac massage, electrical shock, and intracardiac adrenaline shots have saved thousands of lives when applied at once, before the brain cells begin to degenerate by lack of oxygen. Those treatments are efficient when related to a mere functional problem, such as a heart attack, lack of blood circulation in certain areas of the heart, caused by thrombosis or artery clogging. The heart attack may lead to disincarnation, but this does not necessarily mean that the time for the patient to die has come. There are frequent cases where patients are revived by means of medical assistance. However, when the heart attack is caused by the disconnection of the fluid bond, not even the most skilled doctor, using the most modern medical devices, will be able to reanimate the patient. This is an irreversible process. Chapter 5, Balance. The imminence of death starts up a curious reminiscence process. The dying person relives, during a very brief lapse of time, the emotions of a lifetime, which are projected in his mind like the images of an extraordinary movie running at a vertiginous speed. It is a kind of life balance, a survey of credits and debts in the divine accounting which will define the ranking of the spirit as he returns to the spiritual world based on good and bad deeds. However, the values to be counted in his favor are those that moths cannot destroy and thieves cannot steal, as instructed by Jesus, and which were acquired by his good deeds. This is an automatic psychological mechanism that can be triggered in the inner levels of consciousness without the occurrence of death. There are frequent cases in which the dying person comes back to life spontaneously or by means of various resources. Many doctors have been researching the subject, especially in the United States, where Dr. Raymond Moody Jr. is an outstanding name. In his book, Life After Life, he describes the experiences of several people who were reported to be clinically dead. It is important to emphasize that these accounts confirm the information given by the Spiritist doctrine. The people interviewed talk about the balance of their existence. They also mention topics well known to the Spiritists: the spiritual body or paraspirit, the difficulty to recognize their own death situation, the contact with the spiritual guides and relatives, the ability of feeling what people are thinking, the ability to float with incredible sense of weightlessness, the vision of their own dead body, and the extremely uncomfortable impressions felt by those who tried to commit suicide. The studies revealed that such phenomena frequently occur to different patients who generally keep silent for fear of being considered mentally ill. In the book The Gospel According to Spiritism, Allan Kardec states that the universality of the Spiritist principles, similarity in the Spirit's communications obtained from numerous mediums in several countries, testifies to its authenticity, since such great coincidence would have been impossible. Likewise, the authenticity of Dr. Moody's research is statistically corroborated by the reports of hundreds of patients who have come back from beyond and who mention the same elements we have just mentioned, in spite of having different religious backgrounds, being from different cultural and social levels, and living in different areas. The experience of reviewing his own existence in such dramatic circumstances may represent a unique admonition to the revived person, making him aware of the need to invest in his spiritual renovation so that he will not be considered bankrupt in the spiritual world when his time really comes.